Well, thank you once again. I like saying thank you, and that's what it is for all those who subscribe to this channel, and for all students, especially my students who take time to go through this podcast, as some people call it, I call it discussion. And today we have a very good friend here, a guest all the way from Indonesia, and he'll be telling us a lot about not sports this time, but how to become sports manager or becoming a sports manager. So just to remind you, the nature of the discussion would highlight what sports managers do, and then a bit about sport for development. I know it's a field that many people do not know much about. And our guest, I don't want to mention his name. Anyway, he's a good friend also, and a young and astute sports manager or personality from Indonesia. So without much ado, as he's smiling, as you can see, we have a lot to learn today. Would you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who are you?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say thank you, Derek, for having me. So I'm so happy, to be honest, to meet you here right now. And yeah, my name is Rijki Kurniawan, but most of my friends call me just Rizky or Kiki. And I'm from Indonesia, and I'm starting in the sport career, I think in 2012, when I was work for Macamara, is an non-government organization who focusing to increasing the quality of life of people living with HIV and drug user. And after that, yeah, my career in Macamara is grow up starting from volunteer, and the last position was the sport for development coordinator. And today I work for a professional football team in Indonesia called Persib Bandung, and I think I can say that Persib is the biggest football team in Indonesia, even maybe in Asia, with more than 18 million digital fans we have, and also not only that, with the longest history as well in the football Indonesia and Asia. And then another achievement that our team already got. And in terms of the education,
I think okay, in terms of education, you can go on.
Yeah. Okay, and in terms of the education, my undergraduate was French education, and it's not related with sport, but luckily in 2019, I got my master degree in the sport management from Seoul National University through the Dream Together master program.
Okay, great. You said the undergraduate, you took finance. Did I get it right?
Oh, the French language education.
Oh, French. Okay, yeah, got it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I interrupted because I don't want him to exhaust everything, as we would have to talk about details about ways to become a sports manager. Often, a lot of people think about becoming a sports manager, and they do not really know what to do. They do not know the experiences or what people have gone through to become sports leaders, managers, or what have you, or administrators. As Rizky mentioned, he started as a volunteer, and then he rose through the ranks to where he is. But we would break this down into details so that people would have people would know what it takes to become a sports manager. Having said that, what's your hobby? Do you have any hobby at all?
Yeah, my hobby is always related with sport, Derek. But I still remember that when I was a kid, I played football as a young kid in Indonesia, because football is the most popular sport here. So I almost every day playing football with my friend.
Okay.
And we didn't play in the proper pitch, but mostly we play in the street with my
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
And we always stop to play when the Azan Maghrib, we call it Azan Maghrib here, call, or the Maghrib call for playing. Yeah, we will stop to play. And in the junior high school, my hobby was changed from football to basketball. So I play basketball a lot at the moment, I think almost 2 years. And in the senior high school,
Yeah.
my hobby was changed again from basketball to baseball. This is why I think you still remember when the first time I arrived in Korea and you brought me to the strike zone.
Oh yeah, the baseball game.
Remember it? Yeah, I could hit home run.
Exactly. You try.
This is
Anyway.
why I practice. Yeah, I practice baseball in the senior high school, and to be honest, Derek, my time in Korea was really amazing because baseball is the most favorite sport in Korea, and I can watch the amazing baseball tournament there.
Exactly.
And in the university, I didn't doing a lot of sport, but mostly I spend a lot of time to read some book. Even I start to learn English in the university as well.
Okay.
And like
but
now,
do you think that English is important in this field of becoming a sports manager?
Yeah, I think it's very
English
important.
Or any international language, not necessarily English.
Yeah, any international language, especially English, is very important because when you want to be the sport administrator or sport manager, it will be better if you can connect with people around the world. And the lack of the information in Indonesia, I think it will help you when you can learn another language, because the sports education, I think in other country is they step they have the good education than here, so it's really good for you to
now let's look at it this way. You studied with French. You were very enthusiastic about studying French, but at what point did you know that sports is going to be a profession for you, and so you took it as something serious that you have to pursue?
To be honest, Derek, I never think that I will work in the sport area before. Yeah, because my undergraduate was French education, and my dream at the moment is being a teacher at the school, because you didn't know a lot about sport at the moment, but I keep learning. I think the participation or the improvement in Rumah Cemara helped me a lot to my career right now.
And was it then, so like at what point did you realize that this is what you want to do? And was it an easy decision?
For sure, it's easy decision for me because I grew up in the not rural area, but it's like the area with the low income that you have limited access to education. Even I've ever stopped to go to school when I was senior high school, and I grew up in kind of the environment. So being the sport manager and sport administrator, it was the easy decision for me at the moment. And the improvement in Rumah Cemara yeah, when I was the sport coordinator for the development program in Rumah Cemara, it's give me any input or knowledge so I can continue in the sport career.
Yeah. Yeah. So you had dreamed to become a teacher, probably in French in Indonesia, but you took a volunteer job in Roma Chamara, right? And which is a sport for development organization. And through that,
Yeah.
you were able to kind of like carve a way in sports. That's interesting. So for our viewers to know, that's interesting. So now we talk about work experiences. And here you speak briefly about your responsibilities and how you got to these positions and all that. So let's start with Roma Chamara. I hope I'm
Yeah.
pronouncing it well, Roma Chamara.
Rumah Cemara. It's
Yeah,
mean fine host.
yeah. So let's start with that. You've recounted how you got to Roma Chamara as a volunteer, but
Yeah.
what did you do there? You can maybe start again. I know you started as a volunteer, then you became a staff, and then you became the manager and programs coordinator.
Yeah.
At Roma Chamara, what did you do there? What was your work? Or what was it all about?
Yeah, Derek, it was amazing experience that I got when I worked in Rumah Cemara, because Rumah Cemara was not only a workplace for me, but more than that, it's like the university of life. Yeah, because I can learn about the humanity, and I can learn about how to respect each other. Because that organization, yeah, this so many people who living with HIV and drug user who still marginalized in Indonesia, and I can, yeah, blind, and I can work together with them, which is unpopular thing that I did in Indonesia, because when you speak about HIV and substance abuse, some people in Indonesia still thinking that it's the moral issue.
Okay.
Yeah, this is why Rumah Cemara is yeah, a great organization for me to learn. And I start as a volunteer, and then after that, yeah, Rumah Cemara trust with my work, and I become the full-time staff as the assistant brand manager, and then my last position, I was the sport for development coordinator. That is the best moment, as the sport for development coordinator, because I can organize the sports program, but in the different way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here you are. We're at Roma Chamara. He rose through the ranks, became the program's manager, and they use sports to engage persons with HIV, as well as people who are tagged as those who abuse substance, or the substance abuse or drug abuse, anyhow you call it. So here you are on the way to becoming the sport manager right away from a sport for development organization. And we'll be building this up to where he got to Persib. Persib is one of the best football clubs in Indonesia. I think Michael Essien, who played for Chelsea, and then Carlton Cole and a couple of others played over there in Indonesia. So I'm speaking to a big man, just so that you know. So the next job that you got was Indonesia street soccer national team. You can also reflect on that and let us know how that went. Yes.
Yeah, that was the best moment I've ever had as well, and I got that opportunity because of the Rumah Cemara. So the Rumah Cemara is the national organizer for Indonesia to send the team every year to the World Cup, and being the manager of the Homeless World Cup, it was very challenging as well, Derek.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy because, the street soccer and then marginalized people, and yeah, something that you never heard before,
Yeah.
going to the abroad to play a football, and it's didn't make any sponsor or brand quite interesting to support you. So the challenging is to get any budget, yeah, to get any support from the government as well, and then for the sponsor, all, yeah, all top, like now we got the support regularly from the minister, but to be honest, in terms of the operational cost, it wasn't quite enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know you participated in at least two of the Homeless World Cup in Glasgow, and then where again?
Amsterdam
And
and
and, Gla-
Amsterdam.
and Amsterdam, yeah, Glasgow and Amsterdam. So we're talking about Scotland and then Holland. So that's some experience over there. That working with marginalized groups, using sports to engage them into the society. He got the opportunity because of his love for football, where he led the homeless Indonesian and street soccer national team to the Homeless World Cup. So he led the
Yeah,
Indonesian street soccer national team to the
yeah.
World Cup. And just to remind my viewers, he was playing street football when he was young. So it is interesting to see him leading the Indonesian street soccer national team to the Homeless World Cup 2 times in Glasgow, Scotland, and Amsterdam, Holland. And well, I was checking once again, and I realized that you and had some relationship with Manchester City, and then the former English coach Harry Redknapp. How did that pan out, given the street soccer team and then Manchester City and Harry Redknapp? How did these all happen?
Regarding to the Harry Redknapp, so I met him in the Amsterdam during
Okay.
the Homeless World Cup tournament. But in terms of the Manchester City, that's most of the professional football club in Europe, they have like, yeah, CSR or social program, and Manchester City has a citizens giving program, which they will support any organization who working for sport for development, especially football, and they support some cities from different countries. And luckily, my previous organization was supported as one of the organization that get fund by Manchester City, and it was a really great program because
Okay.
they didn't only give us any funding,
Yeah.
but more than that, they gave us any opportunity as well in terms of the human development. So some of young leader that we have
Yeah.
were invited to Manchester to join in the educational program they have. So it really useful for us, especially for the organization who still yeah who still have limitation
Yeah.
in terms of the education for the human resource we have.
Yeah. So corporate social responsibility led
Yeah.
Manchester to support Firomachamar, where Rijki works. And I mean, as a programs manager, he benefited a lot from the education that were provided to him. And so we're still on the way of becoming a sports manager. And as you can see from Indonesia, he's been played like a ping pong to Amsterdam, to Glasgow, to Manchester to build knowledge. And I think this is very typical of young people who dream to become sports leaders, managers, or administrators. Now, the next one was football, FIFA Football for Hope, and the street football networks. How did that also work out? And would you reflect and tell people how that worked out?
Yeah, you know that Street Football World is a big organization
Yes.
who linked any organization around the world, especially who working for the sport for development, and they give us any opportunity to working together with other organization. Yeah, not only in Indonesia but around the world. So I was so lucky because through the street football world and then the FIFA football for hope,
Yeah.
I got some education
Yeah.
as well. So I was chosen to time by the street football world to got any educational program as well in
Yeah.
Brazil at the moment. And also by FIFA Football for Hope, I get some fun to organize the sport program in Indonesia. So at
Okay.
the moment, I have a program to approach the street children who has problem with substance abuse like sniffing glue, and we use football to educate them. Then that is there were a lot of funny story when I ran that program.
Tell us some of the stories.
Yeah, you know that the street, the street, typically the street children, they are so dirty, and they uh, didn't have any access to go to the mall. And one day I brought them to the like high level mall to buy some football shoes. So you can imagine how happy they were, and how people around the mall gets a little bit maybe scary, a little bit maybe was
Yeah.
surprised because so many street child coming to the mall, and then they like bring and eating together in the restaurant inside. That is I think something that you will be a difficult moment you can see in Indonesia.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for sharing this. So we've said it all through, from volunteering for an NGO which use sports as a tool for development, and then I'm getting the opportunity to lead the Indonesian street soccer team to Homeless World Cup on two occasions, as I said. It is interesting and very unique that he found his way all the way to elite football team, which is one of the best teams in not only in Indonesia, but in Asia. And often I've spoken with a number of young people who not young people, but people who have worked through, let's say they've been in the football sector and then they became coaches or managers. But in your case, you moved from an NGO base using sports as a tool for development, using sports to reach out to persons who have HIV and and abusing drugs, and to an elite football team, which is the Partnership for Football Club, I guess. And now you are in charge of partnership and activation. Well, how did you cross over? How did you move from the street soccer national team or from the NGO-based sport for development to an elite football team? How was it? How did this happen?
I think it's not too difficult, Derek, because basically I love to play football. I love to watching football. And before I join in the Persib Bandung right now, I got a lot of knowledge from the Dream Together Master Program, which is very useful for me. And I think my knowledge in the sport for development, so little by little I can use it in Persib Bandung, which is sometime as a football team, yeah, professional football team, you have to connect, you have to engage with your fans, not only in terms of the football matches, but also in other social activities. So right now, sometimes I bring some of my players to visit university, to visit disability school, to visit the regular or general school, to visit the community around Bandung and West Java, yeah, to getting closer with them through the power we have, because we are talking about the Persib. So many people, especially in Indonesia and Bandung, love this team. Even I was so happy when I can join in Persib, because I used to of the big fans of this club, and I right now I can join as a employer. Yeah, I think that is not easy, because yeah, you get some knowledge before in the GTM program. So
Yes. So that's interesting over there. He says it's not a difficult decision. He's garnered experience over the years, and when the time was ready, coupled with an education he got from his masters, particularly from Korea, the Dream Together Masters program, he felt that he was ready to take this mantle of elite position or elite sports, to take a position with this elite football team, Persib. And that's interesting to know. I hope this will be encouraging and motivating to young people out there to be patient in their sport, in becoming, in the becoming process of sports management. Well, in any case, if I may ask, um, do you know some of the international players that play for Persib? I know of Michael Essien, who play for Chelsea, and then who again?
As Ashley Cole, the
Ashley
former
Cole.
player of
Right.
West Ham United. I think
Yeah, I think is it Carlton Cole or Ashley Cole? I'm
Oh,
not too
Charlton
sure.
Cole, sorry.
Carlton Cole,
Charlton
yeah,
Cole. Charlton
yeah,
Cole.
yeah,
Ashley Cole. Yeah.
yeah. So that's very interesting over there. And on a normal day in Persib, what do you do? What are some of your responsibilities beside what you shared to us of engaging in corporate social responsibility on behalf of the team? Are there any other things you want to share with us? What do you do as the manager in charge of partnership and activation?
I think the job desk in my current position right now in Persib is uh, to connect with our stakeholder. So we have a lot of stakeholder, so including sponsors. That's the one thing, the most important thing, because if you talk about the biggest revenue we have in Indonesia, that's the sport industry is still developing. The sponsor is still the biggest one, and also the funds we organize and we run some activities with them, offline and digital activation, and the government, and also the another communities.
Yes, so thank you so much for sharing this experience of becoming a sports manager with everyone, both my subscribers and me as well. I think it's always a thing to learn something new. But the next one, let's look at sport for development initiatives in Indonesia. It is a growing field. For those who do not know what sport for development is, it's basically using sports as a tool for development. There are a lot of NGOs that also use sports as a tool for development. I'll put it that way. Sometimes when you use sports, a lot of people come. Sometimes you are very It is easy to attract so many people. Other people also say cost is a cost-effective way of developing development initiatives. Can you tell us what the situation is in Indonesia in terms of sport for development? Many people know little about this field in Indonesia.
Okay, in terms of the sport for development in Indonesia, I think the sport for development is still the unpopular concept in here. So not many people know about that, and I think only few organization as well who running this program. If we see the website of the street football world, which is they have a lot of network in different countries, the organization who officially membership of the street football world is only two, and it's still I think uh, if we compare to the another countries such as India, they have more than eight. So I think it's something that will be grow up in Indonesia in something that will be good to do in Indonesia, because we have a lot of problem. We have a lot of issue in here, and sport, as we believe that can be one of the problem to solve it.
Yeah. I mean, the sport for development field is not well defined, nor is it classified, but you would have thousands of organizations using sport in various ways to, disseminate information about gender equity or gender equality, anyhow you call it, or balance. And others are using it for sport for health, sports for education, uh, and sports for disability, and what have you. What do you, in your experience with the sport for development, I think you've mentioned the street soccer program. What are some of the challenges that you encounter in Indonesia? What are some of the challenges?
I think the main challenge,
Why you think you said the field is not is unfulfilled? Use that word. Why you think there are challenges, and for that matter, the field is not unfulfilled?
I think that the main challenging when you want to running the sport for development here is the policy of our government as well, because that the sport athlete, it's still the priority for them. Even the sport for development is the part of the sport for all of the sport, the grassroots sport. It's still have a lack of support from our government. That is I think the biggest challenge we have when we want to run the SFD, or sport for development initiative here.
Yeah, so SFD, SDP, anyhow you call it, is sport for development. When you hear that, especially those in the sports sector. And now the last question is often countries from the global south who are tagged less developed country or developing country. I don't know if these names are right, but countries below the tropics, or in countries in the tropics below the equator, often have challenges when it comes to funding. Is that the case also there?
Based on my experience, in terms of the funding in the local, it's struggling. It's very difficult. It's based on my experience, it will be easier when you try to get some funding from the abroad, from the developed country, like in Europe, in Australia, US. So they have a lot of the supporting program. That is my experience. Even as long as I run the sport for development program here, we got lack of the support from the local funding. I think it's because the policy first thing, and then this concept is not too popular here.
But do you think that this as sports for development programs can still be run without funding? Is it possible?
Yeah, I think it's possible, Derek, for sure. It's possible as long as we can build our portfolio to create the good program for our communities. I think more than that, today is the digital era that everyone can easily what you do in your organization or community. I think it's possible.
Yes. Well, I don't want to delve deep into this field, but basically this is becoming sports manager or administrator or leader. What would be, very, very final question, what would be your advice to aspiring young people who would love to become sports manager? People who are now dreaming, people who are on their way to get to the level that you are. What would be your advice to them?
Okay, so in my opinion, the first one is you have to keep learning. It's very important. And second one, you have to keep do the best with everything you have now, with job you have now. You have to do the best. Even when I was the volunteer, I start from here, from there, and I always learn and keep my best in every work I had. And then you have to have a good mentor, so you can ask everything with your senior or your mentor, because they have a lot of experience than us, so you can learn a lot from your mentor. And the last one is I think networking will build your networking, and I think, trust me, it will help you to get what you want, and it will help you to solve when you have any problem.
Well,
I think that's it.
Thank you so much. And here you are. You need networking. You need to be the best. You need a mentor. And then you need to learn. Be ready to learn each and every time. And that's what Rijki is saying. And as you know, he is the partnership and activation manager at Persib and Football Club, the best in Indonesia, one of the best in Asia. And he's seen it from the beginning. He's still living the dream. And I think this goes out to all young people who are aspiring to become sports manager in Indonesia and the rest of the world. I want to thank you for the time and opportunity. It's always great to discuss and learn new things. And on that note, we would end it here until we have another time to discuss or meet again somewhere in Indonesia. I wish you all the best.
See you in Indonesia, Derek.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.